They've been watching for centuries, before governments, before telescopes, before writing. Our ancestors looked up and saw lights that shouldn't exist, movements that defied explanation, beings that came from somewhere else. We've always known we're not alone. The question has never been if they exist. The question is, what do they want? Tonight, 5 encounters. 5 moments when the veil between worlds grew thin. 5 times that humans came face to face with something from somewhere else. These stories have been investigated, documented, and debated for decades. Skeptics have tried to explain them away. They can't. Not all of them. Not completely. So settle in. Let the darkness hold you. And let these encounters drift through your mind like ships through the night sky. Before we begin this journey into the unknown, I have a small request. If this voice has ever guided you toward rest, please consider subscribing to this channel. It's the simplest way to ensure these stories remain available when your mind needs somewhere quiet to land. Now, let that intention drift. Your only task now is to listen and to let go. September 16th, 1994, Rua, Zimbabwe. A private school called Ariel, 62 children between the ages of 6 and 12, playing outside during morning break. Then they stopped, all of them. At the same moment, later, when investigators interviewed them separately, the stories matched with impossible precision. A silver craft descended from the sky. It landed in the field beyond the school fence. A being emerged, small, dark-eyed, dressed in black. It communicated without words. Images flooded their minds. A message. We are concerned. You must take care of your planet. The children ran. Teachers dismissed them. Parents laughed. But the children never wavered. 20 years later, 30 years later, they still describe the same thing. The same images, the same fear, the same message. Harvard psychiatrist John Mack investigated personally. He went in skeptical. He left convinced. These children didn't imagine it together. They didn't watch the same movie. They simply saw. What visited them that morning? Why deliver a warning to children, not world leaders? Maybe because children still know how to listen. Maybe because the message wasn't for governments. It was for us. March 13th, 1997, Phoenix, Arizona. Hundreds of thousands of witnesses. That's not hyperbole. That's the official estimate. Between 7:30 and 10:30 p.m., a massive V-shaped object larger than any aircraft ever built drifted across the state. Silent, slow, covered in lights, it passed over Phoenix, over Prescott, over entire towns. People pulled their cars to the side of the highway and watched. The governor at the time, Fife Symington, laughed it off publicly. Years later, he admitted the truth. I saw it too, he said. I didn't want to admit it. But I saw it. The official explanation? Flares. Military flares dropped during a training exercise. Hundreds of thousands of people saw a formation of flares moving slowly, silently, in a perfect V for hours. No, the Phoenix lights remain unexplained. Not because evidence is lacking, because the evidence is overwhelming and the government still won't say what it was. Something visited Arizona that night. Something so large it blotted out the stars as it passed, and then it vanished. Where did it go? Where do any of them go? November 5th, 1975, Apache Sitgreaves National Forest, Arizona. Travis Walton was a logger, 22 years old. Working a late shift with 6 other men, they saw it first through the trees, a glowing disc hovering above the ground. Travis jumped out of the truck and ran toward it. Then the light hit him. The beam lifted him off his feet and threw him backward. His crew panicked. They drove away. When they came back minutes later, he was gone. For 5 days, no sign of Travis Walton. Police searched. Friends were suspected of murder. The story made national news. Then, on the 6th day, a call. Travis was alive. Come disoriented, dehydrated, confused. His story? He woke up inside the craft, surrounded by small beings with large eyes. He fought them. He ran. He found himself back on Earth, dumped on a roadside, 5 days missing. Skeptics called it hoax, but the polygraph tests? He passed. The crew members? They passed too. Separately, years apart, under different examiners. And here's the thing Travis said that haunts me. It wasn't the aliens that scared me most. It was the humanoid figures watching from the shadows. The ones that looked almost like us. Almost. What does that mean? He never explained further, just said he didn't want to remember. August 20th, 1976. The Allagash Wilderness Waterway, Maine. 4 young men on a canoe trip. Artists, friends. They built a fire, fished, talked about life. Then the sky opened. A massive sphere of light descended. It hovered over the water. Beams of light swept across the lake, illuminating everything like daylight. The men paddled frantically toward shore. They made it. They ran. Later, under hypnosis, all 4 described the same thing, being taken aboard, examined, probed, studied. Their drawings of the beings matched. Their descriptions of the craft matched. Their terror matched. One of them, Jim Weiner, was an artist. He painted what he saw. The paintings are detailed, disturbing, consistent with thousands of other abduction accounts worldwide. Skeptics say hypnosis is unreliable. They're right. It is. But 4 men, separately, under different hypnotists, years apart, describing the same impossible events. That's not unreliability, that's something else. Something that happened. Something that marked them for life. April 6, 1966, Melbourne, Australia, Westall High School. 350 students, teachers, staff, all outside for afternoon sports. Then the screaming started. A silver disc descended from the sky. It hovered low over the playing field. Silent, metallic, real. Students ran toward it. Teachers tried to pull them back. The craft hovered for several minutes, long enough for everyone to see, to memorize, to never forget. Then it rose straight up and vanished into the clouds. What happened next is the most revealing part. Within hours, men in suits arrived. They told witnesses they saw nothing. They confiscated photographs. They threatened teachers with job loss if they spoke. The official explanation? A weather balloon? In 1966, after decades of UFO sightings, the answer was still weather balloon. The students knew better. They've known for 50 years. They hold reunions now as adults, sharing stories their families still don't believe. One woman, Terry Peck, said recently, "I've never doubted what I saw. The doubt came later when I realized they'd do anything to make us forget. They didn't forget. Neither should we." January 20th, 1996, Varginha, Brazil. 3 young women walking home. They saw a creature crouched against a wall. Brown skin, large red eyes, small body, strange smell. They ran. They told their mother. She didn't believe them. Hours later, military vehicles swarmed the area. Witnesses reported seeing strange beings loaded onto trucks. The military denied everything. Then people started getting sick. Local residents reported strange illnesses. Animals died. The area was quarantined quietly, without explanation. Decades later, documents emerged. Brazilian military officials admitted something happened. Not what just that something did. The Varginha incident remains one of the most documented, most witnessed, most puzzling cases in UFO history. Multiple creatures, military involvement, physical effects on the environment, and no answers. What was in that street? Where did it come from? Where did they take it? The street is quiet now, but people who live there still remember the smell, the silence, the feeling that something was watching, because something was 6 encounters. Children who saw them, a city that watched them pass, a man who went with them, canoeists who were taken, A school that never forgot. A town that still wonders. They've been watching for centuries. Maybe longer. Maybe forever. What do they want? We don't know. Maybe they don't either. Maybe they're just watching like we watch the stars, curious, distant, waiting for something. But here's what matters tonight. They're not here. Not in this room. Not in this darkness. The only presence here is you, your breath, your heartbeat, the slow drift toward sleep. Let the stories go now. Let the questions fade. Let the encounters become just echoes, growing quieter with each exhale. They will still be out there tomorrow, the mysteries, the lights, the watchers, but tonight you are the one being held. By the dark, by the quiet, by sleep, let them watch from the stars. You're safe here. Good night.